Florida is a diverse state known for its natural beauty, beaches, tourist attractions, and more. What you may not know is Florida is also known for its rich diversity in agriculture, a deep-rooted history in cattle, citrus, specialty crops, and everything in between. In our new series, Ag Connections, we connect with local agriculturalists to learn their history and how they contribute to the diversity of Florida agriculture. Come with me as we meet Sophie with Mindful Bloom Farms in Mayaca, Florida.
Hi, I'm Sophie, and I'm the owner and farmer florist at Mindful Blooms Farm. I'm a regenerative flower farm here in Mayaca City, Florida. It's all no-till. The flower field is about 1/4 of an acre, so I have 38 50-foot flower beds, and the farming season here is from October until the end of May. I'm all no-till, so I don't use a tractor. My whole focus is on soil health. So for the past 3 years that I've been growing here, I've just been building the life of the soil. So no tractor, that would break down the structure and end up harming the life in the soil. Instead, I do it all by hand. I build the beds with compost. I add organic amendments. I cover crop over the summer. Everything I do is to feed the life in the soil. So over the years, what started as very compacted pasture land here in Florida is now this very abundant, alive, vibrant flower field. I don't use any sprays, pesticides, or chemicals. It's all entirely organic because if I was to spray something to kill the wasp, I would end up killing beneficial insects like caterpillars is what I would spray. It would hurt wasps, which are beneficials, and ladybugs and bees. So the whole focus here is on life, and the ecosystem actually ends up balancing itself. And yeah, we grow all kinds of annual cut flowers. I do bouquet subscription, I do farm events, I do weddings, I do you-pick flowers, anything to bring people to the farm to inspire them to connect with the beauty of nature.
My favorite question to ask anybody is, what is your why? Why do you do it? Because agriculture is so challenging and so difficult. So what's your why?
Yes, and I think about this a lot and I come back to it a lot. There's a couple of whys. One of them is I found farming to be very healing and very meditative for me personally. So just being out in the field, being very present and mindful in the moment, whether I'm seeding or planting or harvesting, it's a practice of being very present and very mindful. So it's very healing to me. But then also the farm is in part creating a space for other people to connect to nature. And so having events at the farm and inviting people to the farm, it re-alights this and re-inspires me to continue farming. And then also I love creating an ecosystem where plants and animals can be safe and people can be safe. So it's really like a whole space for healing, for connection, and that's my why.
I love that. Oh, that melts my heart. So how can people connect with the farm with you? You talked a little bit about workshops, but how can they find it?
I post all the events on Instagram, and they're all listed on my website as well. So definitely Instagram and Facebook is the best way to keep in touch with the farm and see what's happening. I do different events and workshops every month. There's a couple of them per month. In the spring, I'll be doing a bouquet subscription, and I post about it all on Instagram and Facebook. So if you want to know anything happening at the farm, definitely social media is the way to find out.
You're a new farmer, right? So how many years? 3?
3 here, and then 2 seasons before. So this is my 4th. This is my 6th or 7th season farming.
Wow, that's awesome.
But that's still considered a beginning farmer.
Yes, absolutely. So what challenges have you faced, and what advice would you give to people who may be inspired by you?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many challenges. One of the things that I love about farming is that you're constantly learning, and you're constantly learning to let go because you're working with nature, and we have no control over nature itself. But I love that. I love being reminded because it's also a reminder for my own life that we can do things in our control, but there's just this element of life that's completely out of our control. So I enjoy that side of it. So I can't really be mad about it because it's life lessons in the letting go. But the challenges are, yeah, just working with nature, things outside of your control. But I'm constantly learning, and I love learning. So if you love learning and you love problem solving, farming is such an amazing career because you're always engaged. I get really bored easily. I have to always be learning something or doing something new. So if you're like that, then farming's like the perfect path.
That is so true. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
So speaking of new, what's next? We just did our vision board.
Yeah. So we're working on the space here and getting the electric and plumbing all set up and building a kitchen so that we can do farm to table dinners. I'm growing a lot more vegetables in the field, and I do a lot of like yoga, intentional events. I want to do more like farm to table kind of style dinners and have people out like in a different way.
I love that.
Reach different groups of people.
Absolutely, because you need to expose them to this and to what
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
So what made you pick no-till?
I really believe in it. I believe in like building the life and homes and ecosystem within the soil and breaking down the structure. The tractor's breaking the structure. It's harming the life in the soil. So that I believe in. And also, I'm not a mechanical person. I'm not a tractor person. Like, I would be the one to fix it if it broke down, and that's just not interesting to me. So also just with my skill set, it didn't make sense for me. And I like the way that it's ended up.
Yeah, you know your niche. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So as a flower farmer, I have to ask, top flowers, what's your favorite?
Oh, my favorite flower are peonies, and they don't grow here.
It's so sad.
I know. So the second best is ranunculus. It looks like a mini peony.
I saw you had, I think, one out there.
Yeah,
Right now. That's
yeah.
So exciting.
I have a couple beds, and they're just starting.
And you planted those when?
November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so cool. I love it. I guess last question, because I don't want to keep you. What advice would you have for a homeowner? They don't have this kind of scale, but where would you suggest they start?
Oh yeah, and I would say absolutely you have to have flowers, because especially if you're growing vegetables, you have to have flowers to bring in pollinators. A bee is not going to travel just for a couple of squash blossoms. They really need to have the pollen from flowers to get back to their hive and to justify the travel. So it really is so important to feed pollinators, to bring them into your space, to pollinate your vegetables. But it also brings so much beauty. It's so healing. It's so relaxing and grounding. I would get a couple of raised beds from Amazon, fill them up with soil and compost from like a local Lowe's or ag store, like Big Earth Supply. I would buy some fish emulsion, organic fertilizer, and I would use that as an amendment. And then I would get either flower plants or seeds and just start and just learn as you go and keep trying, because I've learned so much from trial and error, and you just have to not be afraid to fail, because you will. And you have to see that as a lesson, which is a success. And then you have to celebrate all the wins. So if nothing goes right except that one thing went right, just celebrate that one thing.
That's such good advice. I love it. Well, thank you so much,
Yeah,
Sophie.
thank you.
And make sure to follow her social media. You want to tell them?
Yeah, my Instagram is at Mindful Blooms Farm, and
Cool.
Facebook too.
And we look forward to the farm to table dinners.
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks.